Into the Breach is a turn-based strategy game with roguelike elements, and it's a sophomore effort from indie developer Subset Games, the creators of FTL Faster Than Light. Everyone and their mothers are talking about and reviewing this game right now, as it's been a top seller on Steam since it launched on February 27th. So, instead of a typical review on this episode of Indie Curator, here are simply 5 reasons why Into the Breach is one of the best strategy games I've ever played. The first reason? Well, it's unique gameplay. At times, Into the Breach managed to approach chess-like levels of turn-based magic. Your insectoid adversaries, the Vec, set up their turns threatening buildings, your mechs, and various objectives, and it's up to you to stop them with a variety of tactics at your disposal. Again, it reminded me of the check condition from chess. Into the Breach is like having 4 or 5 different king pieces on the board, and they're constantly being put into check by the Vec. It's tough, sometimes you have to choose between save and sacrifice. You can't always put out all of the fires. The second reason is the fact that it has a low difficulty curve but a high skill ceiling. Within 5 minutes of starting the game, you'll already be knee-deep into the definitive experience, killing bugs and defending objectives. The one thing preventing me from getting into most quote-unquote grand strategy games is the learning curve. Don't get me wrong, Into the Breach isn't grand strategy and it isn't trying to be, but it offers such a compelling experience that I've had just as much fun with it as I have with actual grand strategy games, but without any of the frustration. The third reason why Into the Breach is one of the best strategy games I've ever played? Well, the difficulty. Nothing less than what I expected from the creators of FTL. This game crushed the innermost kernel of my being. You'll be restarting it a lot, but you'll also be loving it a lot. Now, the fourth reason is probably also the most important for me, and that would be its portability. It's cheap, it's a small download, and it can run on anything. It's also turn-based, so you can alt-tab back and forth to your heart's content, and you're still good to go. It's the perfect game to be lazy with. Maybe when you have friends over, and you can just chill out like a bunch of dilly bars. Kinda like Puzzle Quest or leveling a paladin in Vanilla WoW. It's a solid companion game for collecting moss, and I mean that in the best way possible. And the game has a real pick up and play feel to it as well. You'll always be going for one more run, honing your command skills in pursuit of unlocking the next mech crew or time traveler. You can continue a run that you've previously saved and quit, even from within an actual battle. You just hit continue and you zoom right back into the map you were on. It's brilliant. And the last reason why Into the Breach is one of the best strategy games I've ever played, the presentation. Every aspect of it. Again, didn't expect anything less from Subset Games. FTL was an indie darling, due in no small part to the efficient and unobtrusive way in which the gameplay is packaged and presented to the player. Into the Breach borrows heavily from that very Spartan, unquestionably indie retro presentation style, including beautiful pixel graphics and animations, and a sparse and synth-heavy ambient soundtrack. The UI and menu elements are also brilliant, despite the early challenges the developers encountered with it being overly complicated and cluttered. But like a waiter or a bass player, user interface or menu elements are good when the player doesn't really realize they're there. And that's precisely how it goes with Into the Breach. Just like its predecessor, FTL, the presentation in Into the Breach can be best described as Spartan but elegant. Into the Breach is amazing. If you don't own it, buy it. And if you do own it, go play it. Enough said. Don't forget to head over to thattechshop.com and use code LOSEREVIEWS20 for 20% off reasonably priced gaming equipment and more. And if you like what we do here, please consider supporting the show at patreon.com/losereviews. Until next time, thanks for watching.